telly with George Stroumboulopoulos. George Stroumboulopoulos. George Stroumboulopoulos. George.
Hey Glenn, it's just George. Just call me George. My friends call me George Alphabet. Call me George Alphabet. It's fine. Last names aren't important.
No, I can get this George by George. Live with George Stroumboulopoulos. George Alphabet Boys. Live with George Alphabet Boys. George, good to see you, boy. Good to see you. How's it going, everybody?
Hey Glenn, thanks for having me. I'm doing good. I got my tight suit, my tight pants, no tie. That's how I roll. Because it's me, George. That's how I do it.
Right on, George, right on. Listen, George, we cut right to it, right to the chase, like we says, right? George, there's so many people in Canada, the place is getting mad up here. People are just after their heads complaining about you, George. Do you read it in the papers? Do you get it in the media and social media and stuff like that, where the people are just, they're getting cracked, but they can't stand you, George, like, changing the whole format in the CBC and Happy Night in Canada and all that stuff. People are just ready to lynch you, George, like, how do you feel about it? Like, how do you feel about it all?
I've read it. I've seen it. It's okay. Because I'm George. I'm George. You know, I went to Much Music. Erica M was there. Steve Anthony was there. I took that over. I had to change the whole format. And I made it new. That's what I do. Then I got my own talk show, Glenn. They call it George. And I did it. And I made it. And people loved it. And soon, the people, they will love Hockey Night in Canada as well. You know why, Glenn? Because I'm George. And I'm a superstar, girl. That's what I do. I'm George.
What in the name of Jesus? Did you just quote Eminem in an interview with me? Holy Jesus, stop the presses, boss. George, you're up there by with your tight pants, by your tight-fitting jacket, right? And no tie, and whatever you be wearing, by you're up there with, you get the boys with the hockey sticks now, and you change the floor to ice, right? And you're doing all kinds of simulations and everything, and Ron McLean is gone by, George. Like, do you think it's going to last? The people aren't going to stand for it much longer, boy.
They will stand for it, Glenn. Because I'll make it new. I will make them love it. They'll love me. That's what I do. I'm George. You know, Glenn, people cried when Peter Puck ended. The same people cried when Showdown was over. These people who are crying now because I'm on the show, in 2 years, they'll love me. And they'll scream from the mountaintops, George is awesome. George is okay. We like George. I can feel it. I know it. I've seen it. I know this is going to happen. I went to a tarot card guy, and he told me that was going to happen. So, all you naysayers, you'll bow down to George in time.
I don't know, George, but like, what if in 2 years, like, you know, they gets rid of you, and he brings back the old format, and the people are happy again, and you're not on the show, and you're doing something else, like, I don't know what you'd be doing, maybe you'd be doing something with music, right, in the Talking Heads show, but what if it goes the other way, George, like, are you prepared for this?
Well, not really, Glenn. I'm not prepared for that at all, because I don't see it happening. Contingency is not a word I know. Therefore, I have no plan for that. I think this is going to be very well. I'm going to move on. I might take over the National, maybe. How about that? Did you ever think of that? Maybe I'll be on the National at 10:30 every night, doing the news. And then from there, maybe I'll take a Justin Trudeau role. I'm not ready now, but I will be soon. Do you ever think about that? Think about that for a second, Glenn, and mull over that.
Yeah, I don't think so, Tim. I don't know, George, but like, I'm one of the people that really, I gotta admit, but like, I really don't like watching you, but I gotta say, like, I see you on TV there, and every time I see you, I think back to my childhood, and there used to be this show on TV, and it was called George, and it was about this St. Bernard dog, and a barrel around his neck, it was like in the Swiss Alps and stuff. And the people would go, George? And that's one of the things of every time I see you. Like, do you remember that show?
Well, yes. Yes, I do. I remember the show. It was a good show. I'm not reminded of myself from that show, but I know the show of which you speak. It was a good show. Yeah, I like that big Saint Bernard dog. Yeah, it was part of my childhood. But so did Beachcombers. But that's over. I've moved on.
All right then, George, but I must say, boy, you're awfully confident, boy, looking for the future and stuff like that, boy. I hope it works out for you, boy, and, it goes the way you think it's going to go, boy. I hope you're not, like, squeegeeing windshields out in Vancouver now in 3 or 4 years, but, like, you won't let it get that far, will you?
It's not going to happen. If anything, I'll do something better. Maybe I'll take over for Alex Trebek on Jeopardy. Right? Suck it, George. How about that? How about that's the new saying? Suck it, George. Anyways, whatever I do, wherever I go, I will be successful. I will succeed, Glenn. You know why? Because my name is George. I am George. And that's the way it's going to be. That's the way it's always been. And you're just going to have to face it.
All right then. We'll see, George, but we'll see about that, right? Anyways, boys, live from, wherever this is, via satellite with George Straffelopoulos. George Alphabet, boys. Anyways, we'll see about